Hello Ukulele Bandits, today we're going to be looking at Hotel California. So we're going to look at the chords, we're going to look at some little tips and tricks how to get good at playing them, some rhythms and maybe some other techniques as well, like arpeggios, to make it sound interesting. And yeah, let's dive in. So first of all, when we look at this song, obviously there's a few chords, more chords than normal. Obviously our normal chord, 4-chord songs like A minor, F, C and G will come in handy for this, because we've got A minor, G, F, C all there. D minor, we have done this before, or some of us done this before. If you're new to it, obviously not. So D minor and E7 might be a new one, plus D is as well in there. So if these chords are new, we'll obviously focus on getting those chords good and get them in your repertoire. And obviously if you can play this song, then you're playing quite a few chords. This is going to come in quite handy anyway to get good at chord changing and moving you on a little bit further with your chord knowledge. So let's look at these chords. I'm going to show you, if I take the chord cam off, the side window here, you've got A minor, E7, G, D, F, C, D minor, and in the sequence it's that sequence, but just with the E7 again at the end. So you can see here in the intro we've got A minor, E7, G, D, F, C, D minor and then E7. So let's look at the chords. There's E minor, and what I'll do is I'll turn that chord cam on again for you so you can see that there. A minor, should know this one by now, just that finger, obviously second finger on that second fret on the top. E7, this is a newish chord maybe for some of you guys, so focus hard on getting the shape in your head and the pattern right, and getting the obviously your fingers standing upright so we can hear all the notes. First finger here on the first fret, first on the 4th string, second finger down here on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, third finger down here on the 2nd fret 1st string, which is an A, so that's the A string. And then you're going to strum that, and that's your E7, and then we go to a G chord, which you should know, that's our triangular shape, G chord. And let me just shift the shape up so you can see it on the sheet. That's what you'd see, there's the G. Then a D chord, which is your 3 fingers there for most of us, and thumb down as low as you can get it to get the bright sound, or you can bar it across like I do there, whatever you're most comfortable with. So that's the D chord. Obviously spend some time on that. If you get a new chord like this, what you want to do is strum, make sure you're getting a nice clear sound, and then take your fingers off. You'll notice I cheat a little bit because I can reach around fairly comfortable with my thumb quite high, and I use it quite a lot, and playing instruments with bigger necks it's a bit easier, but if you can, keep your thumb as low as possible, we'll give you more support. So there's the D. There you go. And then we got our F, which we should know. And then a C. And if we go further, we're going to find that we've got the D minor at the end there. I'll just roll it down a bit more. There's the D minor, look. And that is just an F with that finger tucked in the middle there. So your F, 3rd finger on that C string on the 2nd fret. And there's D minor, and it would be in the end of the sequence. If you look at that first sequence, you got A minor, E7, G, D, F, C, D minor, and then finally back to E7. So we throw that E7 in one more time at the end of the sequence. What I would do is spend some time on, if you're starting out and you're still trying to get used to playing, getting these chord changes good, and just really focus on strumming once, counting 4, and focus on trying to get that next chord in on the first beat, and do it at your own time, at your own pace, but really slowly. So it's something like this. You've got A minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're on the E7, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're on the G, 2, 3, 4, then the D, 2, 3, 4, then the F, 2, 3, 4, then the C, 2, 3, 4, then the D minor, 2, 3, 4, then the E7, 2, 3, 4. That's the first thing to focus on. Get those new shapes in your head, or if they're not new, but you're struggling changing with them and getting them in amongst those other chords. Obviously the chord changing is really important, so very slowly just count in between, so there's some sort of rhythmic value there, and really focus on getting your fingers in the right places and getting a nice clear sound. Also, another thing you can do is obviously that trick where you keep the strumming going. So A minor, take your fingers off, keep the strumming going, and then I'm going to find the next chord, E minor, put my fingers in there gradually so that E7's in there, and if I go to the G, you just keep the strumming going, so that you're getting used to keeping a beat and a rhythm. Lots of different ways you could practice that, but slowly, gradually, just get good at the chords and you'll get there with that. So that's the chord sequence anyway. A minor, E7, G, D, F, C, D minor, E7, and then back round again. That repeats in all the verses. Focus on that. If you've got that and you're good to go, then the next stage is put some rhythm to it. So I'll put this little sheet, this handy little sheet here behind it, which has got a strumming pattern. And the idea for this is literally just to get used to playing the basic, I would say, reggae feel strumming pattern. Lift it up a bit, look, A minor there, and what you're doing is you're going to play down, down, up, and then you can percussive it, mute it, or just let the chord notes ring. That you'll see it on the sheet, it's got the X's, so you're going to be going down, down, up. You can literally just, if you rest your thumb, so this chuck sound that we get sometimes, which is a nice percussive sound, sometimes you might get it accidentally where you're just being quite lazy with the strumming, but it's where the palm will hit the string and the fingers will come right behind it. So there's the palm. You can hear them. I'm getting that chucky sound, that sort of clucky sound that you hear in amongst the chords sometimes. So it's really nice for like a reggae feel. So you're going to go A minor, down, down, up, and then you can actually catch the strings there, down, up. So what it looks like in the music is you've got the chord, obviously A minor chord there, and you're playing one strum, one, then 2 and 3, there's no chord, 4 and that rhythm on an A minor would look like this. So then all you do is once you get that strumming pattern, so get that strumming pattern good, and then we move to the next thing. Okay, so what we've got next is going to be playing that through the sequence. I think we should demo that through with the chord sequence. Let's go across here, and I think we should yeah, let's look at that with that chord sequence. So just on the verse chord sequence, A minor, E7, G, D, F, C, D minor, E7. Let's just look at that sequence with that rhythm pattern. Down, down, up. There you go. So it's nice to get that sort of, if you listen to the song, there's a lot of guitars in it, and you can hear several layers. One where they're just going like a percussive sound, and then there's some where they're just doing upstroke. Chap, chap, there's a nice upstroke, and there's kind of little riffs in there, and then jangly chords. There's so many nice little bits in that track, and it all comes together like an orchestra. It's fantastic. So obviously in a group setting, you can imitate that to some degree by having different people do different things in the song, and that's why I like this song. It's quite nice in a group. But if you're on your own practicing, you want to imitate probably the feel more, and the feel is that reggae down, down, up, that rhythm, that when it all comes together it does sound like this nice kind of reggae vibe. So it's kind of relaxed, it's kind of a relaxed groove to it. So anyway, that's the chord sequence with the strokes, and that you can apply that exact same rhythm pattern to the chorus as well. Hopefully that helps, and you got to see me play a little bit of that. So what we're going to look at next is we're going to look at this arpeggio sequence. So if you're going to take it another level, and don't worry if you're not there yet, you can ignore this bit, just focus on that first bit, whatever you feel is most appropriate for you at the moment. And if you want to be brave, you can have a go at this as well. So I've done it just on an A minor, so it's the same chord, and you can see there we've got the arpeggio starts here. It's a note pattern. Really, we're not too worried about the note pattern. What we actually want to focus on is the frets, if you like, in the string. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, there's 4 strings, and this 4th string here is my G string, and then the 1st string is actually at the top. So you've got to remember, you're kind of looking at it So if you're looking at the ukulele, looking down the ukulele, up in front of your face. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. But that's how you read the tabs there. So that's the G string, which is plucked on an A minor. And so I'll just do it without the chord so you can see the finger pattern. If you can put thumb 1, 2, 3 on all the strings, that'd be a great way of doing it. So thumb, and then you're going to pluck the third, second, first, second, first, second. So how I did this rhythm is the first note is a beat, and then I play eighth notes. And what I mean by eighth note rhythm, when I mentioned this before, is where if you've got 4 beats in a bar and you double the amount of notes you're playing per beat, in other words you're playing 2 notes per beat, then you can get eighth notes in the beat, which gives you this eighth note fill, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this song has got that feel, but we start the first one with just a definite 1 strum or 1 beat note. So we're going to go 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and, so you're going to play that. If I do that on an A minor, you're going to play that first note on the G string. Okay, so that's what the pattern looks like with the fingers. Do it nice and slow. And that's quite a nice pattern that you can play throughout the whole sequence. So I'll do that sequence again with that arpeggio. So it's 2 patterns on each, like the strums. F, C, D minor, obviously that's a nice steady slow pace, and I'm concentrating really hard to not embellish it, not to do anything more than just play the straight pattern. And I was so tempted, and I so want to do like embellish it and maybe pause a note or two. And do slightly different patterns and maybe so I like playing around with it, but the basic pattern is where I would start, get that arpeggio flow in so that it sounds nice and musical, and then gradually you might want to muck around with it and put a pause in, or add a little bit more of a strum in, so you could go. So there's so many things you can do with this. Once you get those basic strumming patterns going, the basic rhythm and the basic arpeggios, you can mix them up in so many different ways, and it's so much more fun when you can just kind of feel it and express yourself. But to get to that point, you just got to nail the very basics of playing those arpeggios. So arpeggios, even if you're just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you're just doing a very basic 8th note pattern, sounds really nice over the top. Like I said, if there was several people playing several different things, it would sound really good. And on your own, you're free to express and kind of pick what works for you. So that's the arpeggio part and the strumming part. Hopefully that helps you get you going with Hotel California. The only other thing in the song is the chorus. So if we flick it down to the chorus, I would just keep to the same rhythm, and it's just a different sequence. So it starts on F, 2 on each, E, A minor. D minor. So keeping exactly the same rhythm for the chorus, absolutely fine. Yet again, I always want to embellish it and throw in little things because that's what happens on the guitar and what happens on the song. But you know, this is not the place for doing those embellishments at the moment. We'll just do the basic rhythm, basic chords, get the structure right. Obviously practice playing along with the song if you can. If you've got the capo, you can put that on the 2nd fret. This is another beautiful thing. So if you get the capo, place it on the 2nd fret, what that does, and this is the guitar capo, let's use the capo that's meant for the ukulele. So here we've got the ukulele capo, place that on the 2nd fret, and what this does is it moves the notes up the neck. So whereas A minor was over here before, so A minor was on that 2nd fret here, now with the capo across the 2nd fret, it's acting like the nut, it's holding the strings down further up, and I would play the A minor on the 4th fret there. So you can see that I'm literally moving A minor up 2 frets, and so that this capo, what it does, it transposes, it moves, it shifts along the notes. So now A minor now actually becomes a B minor. So your A would become a B, your C would become a D, G, etc. All these notes move up 2 places, but you don't play it any different. If you've learnt that sequence and you've learnt it without the capo, you put a capo on the 2nd fret, you can play it with the original song in the original key. So if you want to try and play along with this song in the original key rather than sing it yourself, to get used to playing the rhythm and to throw in these things that we've learnt, then put the capo on the 2nd fret, and then you can move up and play A minor. I'll show you what this sounds like if I go through a little bit of the sequence. Okay, so let's look at what that would sound like with the capo. So capo with the 2nd fret, and exactly the same chord sequence, exactly the same chord shape. Okay, so that's just basically in B minor now, which is exactly the same key as a song, and I just think that's a good thing to know if you want to play it and practice playing along with the song and you don't want to sing it yourself and you want to try and make sure you're doing the right thing to the track. And obviously the chorus would be the same, the arpeggios would work, everything works exactly the same. You're just usually using the capo, moving it up 2 frets that you can get in that key. And if that confuses you or you're not quite sure, just stick to what you know. Stick to what you know. Get good at the song. A minor is the key for the ukulele. It makes it a lot easier so we can all play together. Just a little extra for you. And I'll see you soon, and we'll do more again very soon.